Good afternoon. This is Mark at the Wicked Edge Expert Corner group, and you can follow us on YouTube or Facebook. We're talking more about clamping and finding the sweet spot. We talked about recurves and clamping and drop points and clamping and the thickness of the knife and compromise. And now I'm going to try to show you my clamping method for full-size knives. This is a smaller one. This is a petty or a utility knife. And what I'd like to do is I have this piece of paper for the straight edge, and I go from the heel to the tip. And I imagine that line, I don't know if you can see it, right below the edge. And I try to make that straight line so that it's parallel to the jawline. Sometimes I put painter's tape on there. Usually I just eyeball it because it's not that critical. I did take this knife and I did mark the center line. I measured the knife and it is 5.5 inches. I did put a mark at the center line. I want to clamp it as high as I can, and then I put that line from the tip to here. Now that's not set in stone. Different knives, the relationship from the tip to the heel may change depending upon the curve. And for me, it's an imagined thing. I don't actually draw that line, but I imagine it. And I try to put the center line of the knife such that it's curved across the jawline. So that this is like an arc or arched across the center of the jawline. That, for me, gives me a pretty good sweet spot on these kind of knives. You can check it. Tom Morgan, Jersey Tom, suggested this in a post he recently made, and I want to show you this. This is a stone stop. And the stone stop I'm putting right at the tip so that it's just right at the level of the tip. And if you rotate to the heel, that stone stop is right at the level of the heel. So that is telling me that the height here and the height there is the same. And we're using the stone stop trick. Thanks for reminding me about that, Tom. Okay, so that knife is centered now because it's centered. And I work with the stabilizer that lets me offset knives like this at wonky angles and lock it up tight. And then we could come in if we need to and secure the tip. But right now, this knife, the full rotation of my stones can make full contact anywhere on the blade. I use a balanced height clamping situation, forward, back. I try to make that line. Here's another one just to show you. A different knife that just happens to be laying here. Bear with me. And this one is pretty flat, but I would do the same thing. Put the edge on there, and you see how the blade arches. How the blade arches above the straight edge. And then I would mark the center and put the knife like this and use the stone stop so that it touches the heel and the tip. And this knife would end up being like that. What this has done for me, this clamping method that I adopted, and I don't know that it's anything special. It's not something I think that I did myself. But what it does is it provides me a thought process, a plan of attack on all knives to find the center, to balance it. And that works pretty well for basic knives like this. We're finding the sweet spot clamping position. It's when you get into knives like this that you have to get creative. And some of them you would clamp in ways that you would never expect to, and I'm going to have to figure out some way of holding that. But it's still a knife that is sharpenable with a wicked edge once you support it right. So I'm going to stop here. I hope that I showed you my balance clamping method that I use for full-size chef knives. This works fine for anything up to the huge knife. Thank you.